newspaper. It says South Africa will donate just to boost the continent's COVID-19 vaccine drive. The government announced last Friday. The doses worth approximately $18 million will be produced at the Aspen Pharmacare manufacturing facility in this is so hard to think. Over the next year, according to a statement. Does this mean for the African continent? I mean, in the sense that not a single African country, to the best of my knowledge, has been able to donate a vaccine, to donate a single vaccine to other African countries. Even for us here in Ghana, we've had to take it for free. All the vaccines we have acquired, none of them were paid for. The only one we attempted paying for, we wanted to overpay for, which is I think the AstraZeneca, yeah. the Russian one. Is it the Moderna?
No. I think it's the AstraZeneca.
I think it's the AstraZeneca.
The one they wanted to buy from from Maktoum. It's the Russian.
It's the Russian. Okay. I think the name will come up.
Sputnik V. Yeah, Sputnik V. So aside, the only time we attempted buying vaccines, we wanted to pay 90% more the actual price. I think it was $10. We wanted to pay $19. Of course, there was some kululu around it, and eventually that deal was actually botched. But South Africa donating 2 million vaccines. Of course, it might not seem much to the whole of Africa, but I believe that it's something worthy of note.
Good morning, Blessed.
Good morning.
And good morning, my brother from the mountains.
Yeah, good morning.
Season's greetings to our cherished. I can see that Pan-Africa has taken the lead with the Christmas tree.
Yes, sure. Yeah.
Started celebrating the season. South Africa to donate J&J vaccines to other African countries. I think it's a good thing. South Africa is showing solidarity with other African countries, and it's worthy of note that South Africa, which receives so much support from fellow Africans during their fight for independence and against apartheid and for freedom and against racial injustice, would donate the vaccine to other African countries who, because of economic problems, are unable to get as much of the vaccines as they need. But when you were reading it, what for me was very interesting was that South Africa is going to produce or manufacture these vaccines under license in South Africa.
Yes.
Using South African factories or so, which is going to give jobs to South Africans, and which, although it will be paid for from the South African budget, which will go back into, the money will go back into the South African economy. And that's what we expected Ghana to have done, because there are quite a number of these vaccines on the market: Moderna, J&J, Sputnik, and others. And I believe that just use some malaria tablets and other medicines under license in Ghana, we could have also been producing these vaccines under license. When God knows not. We don't know when. They just come and throw it at us. We will do it. Do we have the facilities in this country to produce vaccines? I believe yes. Like I've indicated, Noguchi is a first-class scientific research center, and they can produce vaccines. If we're so disposed towards doing that, if we think that we wanted to do it, instead of going into our default mode of lala sulala, where we just want to be dependent and be beggars. So the president goes to Germany, the German government has already donated some vaccines, and then he claims credit. It was when I went to Germany that they donated vaccines to us for free. They will make a huge party at the airport because some free donations are coming. We never think of what we can do for ourselves. We never think of using our resources, our potential. We've had the Department of Pharmacy in KNUST since the 1960s. Have we been told that we have not produced enough pharmacologists to be able to, if not even innovate a vaccine, but put together the vaccine? Don't we have human capacity? I believe we do. And I think that we have the departments of pharmacy in all the universities, leading universities in Ghana. You understand? I mean, there's been practice of pharmacy in Kolebu for God knows when. Haven't we brought out practitioners who understand the intricacies of all these kind of things? In Ghana, we were able to create from the 50s an infrastructure for primary health care delivery. So when you're a kid, there's this childhood killer diseases, you're vaccinated against it. So we have that infrastructure. And we have the scientific infrastructure, the Mampong Medical Research Institute, which is also researches in pharmacology is the main work that they engage in. Noguchi, Tamale, in the north, in Tamale. What are we doing to ourselves? Everything, we are so happy with the aid industry, with the begging industry, because with the begging industry, there are some people, there's a cabal who cream off part of that free, so-called free aid which comes. It's a real industry, and there are some people who are benefiting from it. So instead of we doing it here, we using our human capacity to manufacture these things, we won't do it. We'll wait for others to come and give it to us. And I think South Africa has done very well. South Africa has not only shown solidarity with the people of Africa, it has also shown solidarity with its own industry, with its own manufacturers, with its own workers, by making them produce the J&J vaccines. And so kudos to them. They could do more anyway, like we did more. When I went to school, I had South Africans who I was in the same dormitory with. That was our help to them. And so kudos to them.
Kudos to them. Comrade Into, we have the facilities, we have the expertise, we can do it. What is missing?
Thank you. And a very good morning to my senior brother and Ofie brother. And let me also say this to my Ofie people. In fact, I want to speak in my Ofie language.
Sure.
Me pese mema ukwapemanfu nyina afishapa. Titiru wanga wowo people no so. Ekwapem north. And ni importem manfifo ekropon Obosuma si tutu mampong ene obi biara orehwe ya no pay me ma wonyina afihyiapa enura nso manfefu di nom asafonsa nti me ma won afihyiapa you nti afihyiapa to everybody. And let me also say a very good morning to Erica, Ara, Mami Aye, and Nabole Anu Into, as well as Simon. I believe they are watching us this morning. Bless, like my senior man said, it is important that as Africans, we also try to, manufacture our own vaccines and make sure that we are able to distribute it to our fellow countries. And so for South Africa to take the lead, we need to applaud them for that. In fact, as per what the paper said, it means that it is going to take off from next year. I hope and pray that it should come out as planned. And I know South Africa, they are not like some other countries that they will come out with promises and yet it will become one thing or the other. I know once they have come out with this kind of promise, I believe that they are going to live up to the task. Kwame, Bless, this tells you that I have missed Kwame. Bless, like you see, from day one, when this COVID came out, I said to myself, why can't we, invest in our institutions and make sure that we can come out with our own vaccine, rather than wasting so much money out there to go out, buy the vaccines or procure the vaccines outside before we bring it into our country. It is worrying that countries in Africa, as we speak, we cannot even produce our own vaccine. It is worrying, because then that is why I sometimes ask, what is the use of the AU? What is the use of ECOWAS and the rest? Because if you go out there, have meetings, and you cannot even agree or come out with a particular, decision to come out with a vaccine, then I wonder what they are doing as leaders of Africa. But thankfully, South Africa has come to the rescue. Let us all pray and hope that this decision that they've taken to, produce the Johnson & Johnson vaccines in their country is going to come out as planned, and the people of Africa will also benefit, because, when it is within Africa, I think that the cost of importing, even though most African countries depend on the free vaccines, if we are to buy it, because it's within Africa, I think that the cost will come down a bit for us, comparing it to, flying all the way to the European countries and, the United States of America and what have you. If it is within Africa, I think that the price can sort of come down for us, and there can be, some terms. We can even do butter trade. Let me give you
create jobs.
It will create jobs, like he said. It will create jobs, and when factories are being built there, it is going to be there forever, and it is not going to, take care of these vaccines alone. They can also produce other, medicines that can help the continent. So for me, I support the idea. It is fantastic. Let us all push this agenda. African leaders, come together. If there's any assistance that you can come out with this one, if even our president is able to donate and say, let me also donate some amount so that we can ensure that this come to materialize, I don't think that there's going to be a problem, because we know maybe we can do some exchange. Our doctors can go there, our pharmacists can go there, share the ideas and bring into our country. So it is in the right direction. So I support the cause. Let's say kudos to them, and let's see how.
To give the money to the Arabs.
Yes,
For them to go and buy from the Russians for us.
They should
take our money to
South Africa. Yes,
to go and buy from.
It remains on the African continent.
Exactly.
Yeah. So for me, I support the idea. So we should go all out for that, and let's see what happens. But it is a disgrace as a continent since 2019, December thereabout, that this COVID came. As a continent, we have not been able to even find a single vaccine or a single, antidote to it that can stop this COVID in our continent. It's a shame. But, hey, they said it's never too late. It can be done. So let's just see
if there's the willingness to do it.
That's it.
It's a question for another day.
That is it.
Well, right. We are live on Facebook, www.facebook.com/PanAfricanTV. Send in your comments on the topics you are discussing. I'll be very much happy to read all of them. Let's get into our next topic for discussion. Discipline will win 2024 election for MPP President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, of course, yesterday the New Patriotic Party, the governing New Patriotic Party, they held their national delegates conference in the Ashanti region, Kumasi, and of course the president was there. Of course, that's his party, so it's only proper and prudent that he's there to talk. And he made some very interesting revelations. He expressed his desire to hand over power in 2025 to an MPP presidential candidate. He stated that emphatically. In fact, I watched excerpts of the conference, and I heard him speak, and he said he'd want to do that. But he there was a caveat to that. He said discipline was going to be pivotal in ensuring that the MPP retains power in 2025. Now, what I want to ask is, what sort of discipline is he talking about? Discipline of prudent spending, discipline of not overtaxing Ghanaians. What discipline is he talking about? And is he himself on that tangent himself? Is he on that tangent? Let me start with you, Comrade Into.
Bless.
And if at all the MPP have if they have any chances of winning the 2024 general elections.
Bless. Thank you once again. You see, whilst you were asking this question, you were even laughing. That should tell you that the president or the MPP in power, they talk, yet they don't act. What kind of discipline is our president talking about? Is it discipline of, being a clearing agent by clearing people who are corrupt? I don't get the sort of discipline the president is talking about, because for me, what the president is saying on the platform is the opposite of what is currently happening. And so is this discipline of how hardship the country has become? Is it discipline of taxes that has been imposed on the ordinary Ghanaian to extent that people cannot even afford 3 square meal a day? Is it discipline that we cannot even be able to hold on to our fuel prices, and each week fuel prices goes up? I don't get the sort of discipline that our president is talking about. He should come out clear. But you see, bless, one thing runs throughout what they did over the weekend. Everything was centered around the NDC. And so I asked, was it a platform to go and discuss NDC, or it was a platform for them to go and amend their own, what do you call it, electoral reforms? I was surprised, because if this one should take on the platform, make sure you don't allow NDC to come to power. And who says it's only NDC who is a political party in Ghana? There are about 28 political parties in Ghana. And so for you to be there and be talking about only NDC, it means that you yourself, you are shaking, you are scared. Because, bless, if I have an opponent and I'm doing something to ensure that people will buy into my idea, I'll not even talk about my opponent. I'll rather speak to whatever plans I have for my people. So what plans do you have for your people? This is an opportunity for the president, the vice president, the minority leader, the majority leader in parliament, the leadership of the MPP to come explain to Ghanaians why they want to collect more taxes from us. But you see, in all their statements, nothing of that sort came in.
There was no mention of that.
There was no mention of that. So it clearly tells you that they don't even think about the ordinary Ghanaian. They don't think about the well-being of the Ghanaian. All that they are interested is how to win power. And we have 3 years to go. And 3 years to go, they are now planning the tactics to be able to win power in 2024. And so the ordinary Ghanaian who stood in the sun to vote for them in 2020 has to depend on his own fate. And so this should clearly tell Ghanaians that the MPP don't have any better plans for Ghanaians. Because if indeed they do, yesterday it was an opportunity for them to explain to Ghanaians that, look, this e-levy that we want to tax you, this ABCD, that is why we want to tax you with it. But they couldn't even say a word. All that they were interested is to lambast former President John Mahama and said, if you leave this state into the hands of the NDC, they will take us back. Where have they taken us to? That's the simple question I ask. So is it a good path that the MPP has taken us to? Look at what is happening in the country. Look at our debt. We have borrowed that to an extent that now you are claiming that simple Momo tax, if you don't tax somebody, you cannot go and pay for your debt. What sort of life is this? And you've gotten the opportunity, instead of you to address issues, look at the statements that they made. So at one point, I was asking, what is this conference all about? Is it a conference to come and lambast the NDC, or is it a conference to come and bash John Dramani Mahama? I was surprised. Come on, Bless, let's be truthful to ourselves. It was a waste of money over the weekend. For me, I see it as they trying to find out from Ghanaians whether they are still popular. That's what they did. Because from what I saw over the weekend, it clearly tells me that they want Ghanaians to see that, oh yes, still MPP is there. Let us come out with our colors for people to know that white, blue, red colors are still there. Because there was nothing new. I didn't see anything good that came out of what they did. It was clearly something to represent and say, oh, we have fixed a date, so let's by all means go and do it. That is what happened. Because look, they are not feeling the hardship. And for a regional chairman to come and tell us that, look, even Ghana is better than America and UK. I was like, hey, is this man in Ghana? Or is he living in a different continent?
I don't know which Ghana he was talking about.
Well, maybe he was talking about Kwame Nkrumah Ghana. Because if he's talking about Akufo-Addo's Ghana, then I can tell you Togo is far better than Ghana. Yes. If he's talking about Akufo-Addo's Ghana, then Togo is better than Ghana. For him to say that UK, US, Ghana is more better, meanwhile, you go to them for money. You go and borrow money from somebody and you claim you are better than the person you borrow the money from. I mean, what kind of logic is that? So I asked myself, was it the English that he tried to, he couldn't understand? Or I still don't get it. If it is the English, he should come and tell us. Because from what he said, it made me understand that, look, the man is not in Ghana.
No, he was emphatic about it.
Oh, come on, my brother.
He said now Ghana is better than the US and the UK, and it is because we owe that to the policies of the New Patriotic Party.
So what are the policies? Let's interrogate some of the policies and find out if these policies are really helping the ordinary Ghanaian. Policies of taxing. Bless, is it policies of taxing? Or is it policies of free SHS? No, let's be truthful to ourselves. What kind of policies? The policies are there. You've come out. I keep telling you that, look, if you implement a policy and you don't take your time, you implement it anyhow, it will get to a point you will crash. It's okay to a point you crash. That is why we see some of these policies that they have introduced, but it has gotten on the rocks because it is not working. It is not working. So yesterday's and Saturday's, what do you call it, conference that the MPP held, I see it as one of the usual long talk, plenty talk, and empty barrels. That is what happened there. Because nothing good.
I saw that particular comment as a jestful remark.
Oh, for him to just pass on that and say,
yes, I don't think that any Ghanaian, anybody who lives in Ghana would liken Ghana to the United States or the UK. Like, unless of course it's just to evoke humor or something.
But bless, are you surprised? I should tell you that they are insulting us. It is a way of insulting Ghanaians, the gentle way. Because after all, we are complaining that there's hardship. Then you just look right in my eyes and tell me, oh, even Ghana is better than UK, Ghana is better than US. It means that you are insulting us. And this is what Ghanaians should stand on and punish the MPP. You understand? For them to come back and tell us that, look, even though you are telling us that there's hardship, it is better than America and UK. And then the president will also go on and say that, oh, yes, I admit that Ghana is hard, but I am not the cause. Come on, my brother. How can you also say this? So you see a sort of insult. If it is not coming from the presidency, it will come from the vice or any of his appointees, including the regional chairman and the rest, because they are all the same. You admit that yes, there's hardship. So look at this point. Bless. Your regional chairman, who is hosting the conference, says that Ghana is better than UK and America. Then the president also takes on the platform and says, yes, I admit that there's hardship in Ghana.
But
I am not the cause. You can't blame me.
It's a COVID.
So, oh God. So you see the sort of insult, the sort of lies, they are not consistent. So that's why I keep saying that you can lie, but it will get to the tail end. You hit the wall, so you can't do anything. That's what this MPP government is doing. They have lied to the extent that they have now gotten to their peak, and there's nothing they can do. So Ghanaians have gotten used to the lies, and now we need to punish them for it. If you are not the cause of the hardship, people in authority who appointed them, if you say fuel prices goes up, let's take fuel prices for example, Blaze. If fuel prices goes up, is it not the MPA who are supposed to take care of the fuel prices? Is that not it? Who appoints the CEO of MPA? Who appoints the board? Is it not you, the president? So what are you telling me?
And even the taxes.
I mean, did you say? And then or is it the fault of the finance minister? No, I want to know, because if it is the fault of the finance minister, who appoints the finance minister? Or is it the fault of education minister? Who appoints them? So it means that, well, so it clearly tells you that the man who is even speaking himself is not competent. Because if you are competent, you will not accept the fact that yes, indeed, the country is broke. There's hardship in the system, but you are not responsible for it. So who then is responsible? Is it John Mahama? Is it the NDC? That is why, or is it me in tow sitting here? I'm surprised. These are all loose talks. People are finding it difficult to live under certain conditions. And instead of you to come out as a leader, tell Ghanaians things that will encourage us to be able to, bear with you. Look at the sort of statements. Do you think we can forgive you? Do you know what is happening? When I was coming, a friend called me and said he wished we were going to do election tomorrow. Like MPP will not even get 10%. Yes. If we are to conduct election today or tomorrow, MPP will not even get 10%. Because they are not popular again. So like I said, the Congress or the conference that they held, they want to test the grounds. They want to make sure that their colors are still in existence. And if yes, indeed, Ghanaians know that there is a color like red, blue, white, which exists with the elephant in it. But for me, it is dead long time ago, because what they've been preaching over the years, over these 5 years, is nothing to write home about. They are plugging this country into more hardship, and anytime they get opportunity for them to address issues and let Ghanaians know that yes, things are not going on well, they rather take on their opponents who are in opposition, who are not even ruling this country. And everything that, problem that we encounter in this country, they fought it with the previous government. Meanwhile, you've been in government for 5 years. So how can you come back and tell us that it is the fault of the NDC? It is the fault. My brother, if it is the fault of the NDC, why then did they decide to contest in 2020? If you know NDC has plugged this country into chaos, they have made sure that this country is not working well, I wouldn't contest again. I'll just leave it to them to come and fix it themselves. But you are still in power. You still contested to an extent that there was even question marks as to whether you've been able to win effectively. Yet you still complain. They said they have been able to do e-blocks. It is physical. I always say that when something is physical, you can see and touch, hold it. You are saying you are going to do E-levy, which is software. It means that with yours, everything is on the screen. You can only see, read, but you can't hold it. Ghanaians want to hold what policies or feel what policies that you have implemented so that it will benefit them. We don't want policies that are on the screen. That is why they are quick to bring on E-levy, because all that they do is to everything electronic. Digital. Everything electronic. But you see, Bless, before I end, there is one interesting thing that people don't know about this MPP government. Do you know that for them, they are expert in collapsing businesses? They are expert in making sure that people lose their jobs. Do you know that if they are able to introduce this E-levy, people will go out of their jobs? These mobile money vendors, people will stop doing mobile money, and people will go and sit up in their houses, like the way they've collapsed the banks. So they have collapsed the banks, then they are shifting to this small mobile money that my brother and my sister and your cousins are also depending on, using some 1,000 Ghana as their capital. They want to eat into it, collapse it, and then everybody will just be under their feet. So a few of them will enjoy. That is their mentality. This E-levy should be 0.0. We don't need it. Where the country is, we don't need E-levy. And for me, once they had the opportunity to address all this, and they couldn't, but rather they were responding to NDC and John Mahama, that alone is a failure. That alone is a failure. And they have failed, Poto.
They have failed.
They have failed.
They have failed.
I keep saying they are Zuku, but people didn't understand. Now they know.
Now they've seen it for themselves.
People have seen it for themselves. So is it the men we have? Is that the men? And then you want to use this to break the 8. Let's see how they will break the 8. If this is what they want to use to break the 8, then some of us will not sleep. We'll make sure we campaign against them to lose the 8.
Right. Thank you very much. Let me do a few of our Facebook messages. I see most of you sending in your messages on Facebook. Let me read a few of them, then I come to Comrade Henaku. It says, Pan African TV, good morning. You are simply the best. Keep up the good works. I enjoy watching your Good Morning Africa program every morning. My morning isn't complete without this program. Thank you very much, Michael Abi. Mensa Pillar 2 says, humble and hardworking president ever in Ghana. In Ghana's history, Nana Twaso Dewuhene by Mensa Pillar 2. This one here says, hi, good morning. Bless. I'm watching you live from Hillsborough, New Jersey. Good morning, Ibrahim Boss. Many thanks for doing the watching. Samuel Evans Otat says, Akufo-Addo's indiscipline, arrogance, reckless spending, corruption and looting of our limited resources, coupled with the destruction of the foundation of our nation through his advocacy, political propaganda, free SHS and his unprecedented lies, will take the NPP to perpetual opposition. Watching you live from Birmingham. Thank you very much, Samuel Levensotam, for doing the watching far away in Birmingham. Mohammed Abdul Razak Ali says, good bless and your panelists. I think the EC should include, well, I can't read this one, I'm sorry. Dalkai Wen says, the president may be, no, I can't read it. Monday William Jikunu says, good bless and your panelists. This president will never stop the lies because he's an expert. If it isn't COVID-19, MPP will be out long time. They're supposed to thank COVID by this time. Dollar will be 100 cedis. Okay. Some Mantis says they are just talking and singing rhetorics. There is nothing to write home about. Mohammed, no, Mohammed, please come again. Abdul Latif Adam says, good morning. For the first time in the history of Ghana, citizens are parceling bottled water as Esma's gifts. What a harsh. Citizens are parceling bottled water. Hey, as Esma's gifts. What a hardship. Ghana is really bleeding in the hands of these talkatives. Abdul Latif from WA. And finally, Ibusu Alangwa Messe, Pan African TV, thank you. May God bless your album. My regards to your cherished viewers. MPP party, God save us. Why can a rational human being say that? How can a rational, well, okay, it's not so clear. If Ghana is now better than the US or UK, why are they traveling there for medical care? Why are their wives traveling to US to deliver babies? Okay, right. Thank you very much. And finally, Bonsinvi Ali said, I'm watching you live from Jonga Junction in Wa. Thank you very much. Comrade Henaku.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, the paradox that we are seeing with the country in hardship, whilst Rome bends, the Emperor Nero is fiddling in his palace. And you see the MPP people engage in a jamboree, you know, showing splendor and splashing about money, whilst they are imposing hardships through price increases, through taxation on the Ghanaian people. When they talk about discipline, what I gathered from the conference was that they dealt with internal matters, party internal matters, with a party which is in power, and with so many of their policies having run aground. I was surprised that they didn't touch base with their people to give them a feedback and engage in a robust debate on the fate of the policy called the free SHS. Their people, those constituency people and every people, should have reported to the hierarchy up there how the ordinary people are feeling about the impact of the free SHS, whether it's good or bad, where people's children have to go somewhere and they have to hire a place, and the monies which people are spending and the low quality in which education has sunk in our country. That is what the party conference should have been for, to get that feedback on that policy. They should have gotten the feedback on the proposed policy of E-levy and the Bola tax and all those plethora of taxes that they've imposed on Ghanaians without a corresponding increase in capital expenditure and infrastructure building in our country. They should have gotten a feedback on the state of the roads in our country. I have people, shock absorbers get spoiled, and sick people can't access hospitals, etc., because of non-existent roads or bad roads. It should have been a conference about policy, national policy, about how the country is being run, about the indiscipline as far as contracting debts is concerned, about the indiscipline as far as the inordinate expenditure of government house, that is Flagstaff House or Jubilee House, whose appetite
keeps swelling
and going up and going up. That is where the discipline is needed. Instead of just being narrow-minded, inward-looking, and thinking about how to perfect their electoral machine in order to be able to go for 2024. Before you go to 2024, the country must be standing. The human beings must be living in order for them to go and queue and vote for you. Why you steal from us without giving us anything? And then you want to perfect an electoral machine which can once again come out with sweet-sounding lies. You yourself came, when you wanted power, you came and told us that yetisikasoso yebre or something of that sort, or comedy, which we agreed that yetisikaso, we have all this gold, we have all this oil. They said they have discovered more iron in Oti region. There's already iron in Sheni in northern region and iron in Opon Mansu in western region. We have known that for a long time. They said we have even discovered lithium, which makes batteries, and which is very expensive. Now, the monopoly of lithium export is Bolivia. We have manganese, bauxite from Awaso. We have all this forest and the water lake, the largest man-made lake in the world, with all the fish in it. We are bordering the Atlantic Ocean. We have these fertile lands, everything. But we are suffering. The suffering in the land. And all that you can talk about is just narrow yourself to your party people and talk to only your party people, and you don't talk to us Ghanaians. You've disregarded us. And we are told that, oh, have dreams of being better than the Americans. The Americans too have free primary and elementary school. They've had it for a long time. They are now thinking of even writing off the arrears of those who go to for higher education, go to the colleges and the universities. England, the children who go to the primary elementary school, comprehensive school, is free. When you're going to university, you get a loan. It's not like that in Ghana. In Ghana, when you go to university, you have to pay. So all those people who went for free SHS, how many, what's the percentage of them who can go through to tertiary education? These are the things which are bothering us. What is bothering us is the fact that you have a deficit of 37 billion Ghana cedis. And that deficit of 37 billion Ghana cedis, a huge chunk is made up of interest rates that you have to pay. So you are going to borrow money from Eurobond. You are going to borrow money again to come and pay for your interest rates. You are going to borrow money because our revenues is not enough. You are going to borrow money to even pay workers. Now you want to impose a tax of E-levy on us to reduce the interest rates. In the budget, is there discipline in the budget? The budget that we had, there's no discipline in it. There's absolutely no discipline in it. Despite all these resources I enumerated, which we have, you still want to sell some mortgage that which is yet to be tapped through a Japa. Then you come and tell us that we have to widen the tax net. I agree. Let's widen the tax net. Let's not deepen the taxes on the already burdened people who are paying taxes. Who are the burdened who are paying taxes? Apart from those who pay on our impayee who pay income tax, if you know the percentage of indirect taxes that we pay in this country, and which affects everybody, whether it's VAT. VAT is an indirect tax. It affects everybody. It's a VAT on rice, a VAT on everything. And everybody pays. Whether you are in the formal economy or the informal economy, you pay those indirect taxes. The Bola tax, the COVID tax, all these taxes, everybody in this country pays. But you give tax exemption to your cronies. You give tax exemptions to the foreigners, such that the gold that we export from this country, there's a retention of 98% by the foreigners, and you have given them a tax holiday of 10 years. And those who are in the free zones, they hardly pay any tax. They don't allow for unionization by workers to be able to fight for decent wages. You've turned Ghana into a banana republic. And when we say a banana republic, do you know what a banana republic is? Have you ever heard of United Brands? United Brands was a banana conglomerate in the United States of America. And they had a huge banana plantations in Central America, Honduras, Costa Rica, all those, El Salvador and those places. And they virtually ran the government. I don't know whether it's still the same. Like in Liberia, Firestone had 1 million acres of rubber plantation in Liberia. And the civil war in Liberia did not happen in that 1 million acres. First, the fire was all around it. It means a transnational corporation has virtually taken over the running of the state capture. Then you come and you tell us about discipline in your party and how the three people say it's pesenkumya. I mean, it is self-serving. Greed. Only thinking of yourself, not thinking of the Ghanaian populace. So you won't talk about our problems. Then they come and tell us that it is not their fault. When has it ever been their fault? Growing up under the Progress Party government of Buzia, they also said that the economic problems was not their fault. It was that of Nkrumah. Yes. For them, their tradition, it is never their fault. It's always the fault of somebody else. They must always point at somebody and not to themselves. They told us that they had the intellectual power house to be able to run this country. Is this the result? The result we are seeing, where there are price increases almost every day, where we have sunk into debt, and now we are mortgaging what is in the ground to get some more money, where ministers have become economic warlords, where they take more loans and let their companies manage it to put money in there. And they do it brazenly. They do it brazenly without batting an eyelid. They don't care. They've run this country aground and they don't care. They're holding a jamboree in Kumasi They are thinking about among themselves which of their warlords should become the presidential candidates. And we are being told that they are telling themselves that amongst their warlords, they should be disciplined to manage themselves properly in order to be able to keep the power which they have not properly managed. In fact, the NPP has been a real disappointment. And the NPP actually, which claims to represent the educated elite in this country, has been a real disappointment. The educated elite has been as disappointing now as they were during the struggle for independence. When the people rejected them, they were even begging the white men not to go. That is the educated elite in this country for you. The system is moribund. The system has come down. This system can't go on forever. People are suffering. There's suffering in the land. People are suffering. Then you go and hold a jamboree and you tell us that we are better than the Americans. Is it in our dreams? We are better than the British. Is it in our dreams? What is this? And they say it, and they don't care. I mean, you can go to hell. Why? But let me tell you something. Power is sometimes like an ice block. When it starts melting in your hands, you can't do anything about it. With all the nuclear bombs and the military and all those things, when power left the hands of the ruling elite in Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union, they couldn't do anything about it. And to happen to these people, and to happen to them very soon.
To happen to them very soon. Words of Comrade Justice Ekufu and Aku. We have been discussing a myriad of topics here on the show. And earlier on, we brought you South Africa to donate J&J vaccines. We took that story from the Daily Graphic. We just finished discussing the discipline will win 2024 elections for MPP president. We took that story from the Ghanaian Times. NDC vows to seek justice for 8 matters of election 2020. The insight and minority fooling Ghanaians, that's a question, as it keeps changing stance on E-levy. Right, so these are the stories. We've digested 2 of them, 2 more to go. So let's tackle that one. NDC vows to seek justice for 8 matters of election 2020. That story took from the Inside newspaper. I keep on saying this thing. It's been over a year since people were brutally, tragically murdered in the elections. And over a year now, it's like we've kept mum over it. Everybody's silent. It's like the lives of these people do not matter. It's like instead of human beings, it's like some people saw cockroaches die instead of human beings. Because in any serious country where in an election 8 or 9 people or so tragically lost their lives, it means that we are going to make a proper investigation. And if people would have to lose their jobs over that, people would have to lose their jobs over that. If people would have to be put behind bars for that, people would, but it's like, we don't care. Comrade Henako.
Not long ago, there was a fire outbreak in the block of apartments, flats in the United Kingdom. They established a committee of inquiry. The Parliament established a committee of inquiry. The councils established a committee of inquiry to find out why. Was it the cladding? What happened? I mean, why did the fire sweep through that apartment block and kill over 200 persons? Was the lift not working? Were the fire protection devices not working, etc., etc.? At least this indicates to us that the state, that machinery which the human being has devised in order to be able to run affairs of the society, is working. what happened to us? It shouldn't even be the NDC or the NDC alone who should seek justice. The state itself. Why? Because there's been murder. Mm-hmm. And when there's murder, the state must be interested in who caused the murder, how the murder happened. And in this case, state apparatuses, the instruments of the state, the army and the police and the electoral commission and whoever was the authority, that the DC and all those people, are people who should be interrogated. They are all culpable because they are supposed to ensure the security and safety of the persons who lived in that jurisdiction. So how come that there was an infraction of the law and none of these bodies have tried to ensure that it is investigated and the culprits who for either their inaction or their action caused it are brought to book? Why aren't they making sure that the law is upheld? And the interesting thing is that I was just wondering if one of those their candidates had been shot dead, whether everything would have been silent now. So there's a class aspect to it. Because it is the ordinary people, they don't care. The ordinary people are fodder to be run over roughshod for them to keep their power. So long as they can keep their power, they can kill as many people, maim as many people as possible. If there had been a minister who had been shot in, is it Ablekuma, or whatever it is, or in Kintampo, would we be quiet? Would the state, instruments of state, agents of state, be quiet? They wouldn't. They wouldn't. Even this Ejura thing, it was because people went on the street. That's why they were forced to create Ayawaso. People were agitated. That's why they were forced to do window dressing. This, they've just shifted it. Oh, it's the NDC people. As if NDC people are not Ghanaians or human beings. You even had a so-called lawyer who claims not to be a speaker, although he was sitting on the speaker's chair, claiming that these people were criminals. He is a criminal. He is a criminal. Come and tell us lies that these people, that little girl who was shot in, I believe, is it Odoko or whatever it is a criminal. What crime did she commit? And because in his estimation they are criminals, it means they are non-persons. Nothing should be done about it. This should indicate and show to Ghanaians that this country is divided between the haves and the have-nots. And the lives of the have-nots is not valued. It is only the lives of the haves which is worthy to those who are governing us. This should show to the Ghanaians that their government, their rulers, and their elites are not prepared to protect them. They are not prepared to allow the state institutions which we all pay for and which we have all agreed that in an orderly society there must be a state, there must be the police, there must be the army, there must be the electoral commission, there must be the civil service, the public service to run the affairs of the nation. We are being told that no, all these institutions are to serve the elite and not to serve the have-nots. who are the majority of the people of this country. That is what people should avail their minds to. It is not only the duty of the NDC. Where is civil society? Where are the churches? They go and they preach in their sermons, in their pulpits. Where are they? What have they said about this? Where is the judiciary? What's the function of the judiciary? If justice is denied to these 8 persons who were brutally murdered during an election, what kind of country is this?
Right. All right. Thank you very much, Comrade Henaku. Very impassioned, submission there. Let me do a few of your Facebook messages. A.U. Farouk Tamale North says, "Good morning. We thank God the president admittedly agreed that Ghana is now in difficult times, and also the MPP National Delegates Conference turned into John Mahama's name and even forgot discussing the main event of the conference. May God bless former President Mahama." Israel Nyonyo says, "Good morning, Mr. Host. While the National Congress holds annual Congress, the New Patriotic Party holds annual party. You could see it clearly yesterday when they wasted everyone's time just because of their crave for profligacy and power. Anytime I hear them talking, it aggravates the inducement of irritability in me, and it pierces my heart like the tip of a double-edged sword. Ghanaians, let's uproot them come 2024. Mohammed Abdul Razak Ali says, which discipline the president is talking about? Which discipline is the president talking about? The indiscipline in the spending our money in the Jubilee House, the indiscipline in the police institutions, the indiscipline in the parliament, the indiscipline in the judiciary or in the public institutions. The president should come again. Thank you very much. Daniel T says, Mahama will show them real wickedness. No, this is not a wickedness showing contest. I don't think he will do that. T.A. Shaibu says, good morning, Mr. Host. In fact, you are doing good job for Mother Ghana. Thank you very much. Rashid Ratif says, good morning, Pan-African TV. Kufuor and Bawumia government is the worst ever in the history of Ghana since 1957. Now the most difficult work in Ghana is to defend Kufuor and Bawumia's government. Felix Minta says, good morning. Congratulations to the New Patriotic Party for a successful National Delegates Conference. Just as the President said, maintaining internal unity, keeping our eyes on the ball, and demonstrating modesty and humility will be key to our success in 2024. Thank you very much. And Abubakar Sadiq Mohammed says, Ghanaians are yet to know that this MPP government's sloganeering of breaking the 8 years in power, sloganeering of breaking the 8 years in power means rigging the 2024, 2028, and 2032 general elections. Ghanaians should know that the MPP rigged the 2020 general elections, and due to that, Ghanaians should wake up and fight against them rigging the 2024 general elections and subsequent elections. The MPP hope of remaining in power through elections rigging. Right. Habib Abdullah says, good morning, Pan-Africa TV. I live in UK and I saw a situation where a dam burst in a small town, which the water destroyed property, but no lives were lost. But it took the Prime Minister Boris Johnson some days before he went to the town. The people showed their anger and their frustration for not coming to see them earlier. Well, I think this is in connection with the tidal waves that rocked K2 South and its environment. So, all right, let me come to you, Comrade Into.
Yes, Bless. You see, if the NDC says that they are going to investigate or make sure they seek justice for the 8 people who died during the election, it's in the right direction. Because from all indications, everything points out that the current president, as well as the ruling party, is not willing to investigate the matter. And as a matter of fact, even the EC has come out to tell Ghanaians that they were not responsible for whatever happened. And so, like my senior colleague said, if you have an institution which is responsible for ensuring that there is free and fair election. And this same body is able to come out to tell the whole world that, yes, we conducted an election, people died, but we are not responsible for that. That should tell you the kind of insensitive leadership we have at the EC. And I'm not surprised the president himself has not even uttered a word. But like we are all seeing what is happening in the country. My senior said there are a class of people who, when there's issues, people will investigate. And there is another class where people will not even talk about them. If it had happened to an MP, a DCE, or even a strong member of the ruling party, by now the police will still be investigating. But as it stands now, nothing shows that there's any investigation going on. There's nothing like compensation for the families. And it is like an NDC affairs because from all indications, it tells you that the people who died are NDC members. So you can go and carry your own cross. That's what the MPP is telling Ghanaians. And so for me, based on what they said over the weekend, Ghanaians should learn and know that, look, this current government only thinks about his people. And he's not there for ordinary Ghanaian or all Ghanaians. They are only there for NPP people. Because if NPP people were involved in this incident, by now, they will be mourning. And even during their Congress, 1 minute silence will be observed. But what has happened? Nothing. So it is sad that sometimes when you kill yourself for your country and it is not being recognized, I mean, I don't see the point in you trying to kill yourself. Because look, these people, they want the betterment of this country. That is why they put their lives on the line. Right. And so such people, they are heroes. In 2020 elections, look, I keep saying that God has a way of making sure that things work for this country. That is why in 2020 elections, there are 20 female MPs from NDC, 20 female MPs from MPP, 137 male from both sides, and then just one independent. And so when decisions are going to be made, it depends on only the one person. So if the one person too also thinks about Ghanaians and realize that there is hardship and realize that people have died because of these elections, he will think twice. And when he's taking a decision, he will look at the people who died. But what do we see? What do we see? It is not happening. And I know we will get into your final, topic. And I will make sure I will infuse it with this. Because whatever is happening, if the minority should rise up, there can be justice for these 8 people. Who has raised it in Parliament? I don't know if they have even raised it before. Have they? Bless. Have you heard the minority raising the people who died during the elections? They have not. I hear they asked the EC to go back and make sure they sack 2 of their commissioners and make sure they bring Jane Mensah.
Yes.
But even a whole courtroom, she was not allowed to stand in the book. What about Parliament? I mean, if we have set some precedent, that is why she's also following it. If the Supreme Court didn't allow her to stand in the box, how can the Parliament say, come and stand before us? Some of these questions we need to ask her. Is she really responsible for what happened during the 2020 election? Was she in charge? But hey, we are not asking questions. All that we are interested is how to win 2024. NDC if you want justice for these people, it should start now.
It should start now.
They don't have to wait and say, when we come to power. They can start now.
They can start.
Who is leading that? They have 137 members in parliament. If they are able to block some of what do you call it, president's business in parliament and say, we want justice for these people, the president or the leadership of MPP or the government will wake up. Some of these things we need to use force means to apply the justice. If you only go do lectures and say we are doing lectures for these 8 people, we want justice for them, Master, you sit in an air-conditioned room and you do lectures and you want justice. Go out there, let people know that indeed you want justice for them. You can't sit in an air-conditioned room and be doing lectures and be saying you want justice for these people. Where they died, were they in a room? Were they not on the street?
Yeah, they were on the streets.
So, and it was because of elections for the NDC. Is that not it? They wanted the betterment of Ghana. They want the NDC to be in power. That is why they have put their lives on the line. And so if you want justice for them, I don't see the NDC people sitting in an air-conditioned room and doing lectures and say, we want justice for them. Go out there and let Ghanaians, let the whole world know that, yes, indeed, you are fighting justice for them. There are so many ways you can be able to get justice for these people. And I've just mentioned one. You have 137 members in parliament. What do you do? What do you do? You can do something, and there will be justice for them.
Right.
So let us not be in the lecture rooms and be talking about we want justice, being in the media house. Let us see the actions.
Let us see
It should start now. There's a saying, in one of my youth groups on the mountains, when you say action, they say action now. So we want action now.
Right. Thank you very much, Comrade. So, minority fooling Ghanaians, this is a question as it keeps changing stance, and this has got to do with the E-levy. The discussion about this E-levy thing never seems to, it doesn't look like we'll be dying down anytime soon, because today is one thing after the other. The other day, I think I heard the telcos have agreed to reduce their charges by some 25% so that I can make room for government to charge the 1.75%. So if technically, let's say I sell 100 Ghana cedis, if I use MTN, I'm paying 1 Ghana cedi as a normal charge. Now they taking 25% means that I'm going to pay 75 pesos. Now 75 pesos, that aside, I still would have to pay the 1.75% by government. I don't know how big a difference this is. Even if the telcos were to take away their percentage, in its entirety, and say, look, we are scrapping our 1%. Pay 1.75% to the government directly. To me, I feel that is even too much. They already have a share in it.
So anyway, maybe I'm not the one speaking, but if you want me to,
I'd want to start with Comrade Henako, and the fact that, of course, as the paper captures it, E-levy brouhaha, minority fooling Ghanaians, as it keeps changing stance. I've seen the Member of Parliament for the Sagnarigu Gambaga constituency, Honorable ABF Hussein. He has been here in this seat and stated without any equivocation that there is no way they are going to accept even 0.001%. But again, of course, we've heard the minority leader, Aruna Idrisu, on some platforms. He said he didn't understand it, but after having that meeting with the majority caucus and all of that, he feels that 1% will be ideal. Of course, there have been instances where he has also come to say that, look, no, of course, we are not going to even accept it at all. So clearly, there is this disagreement even within the minority as to whether or not this E-levy, this tax, should be imposed on Ghanaians.
Well, it's quite interesting that after the telecos are saying that they can reduce the 25%.
Yeah, they can reduce by 25%.
Yeah. Well, the MPP people sold our only telecommunications company to Vodafone, to foreigners. And so Ghanaians do not have any share in the telecommunications business. And Ghana Telecom had huge infrastructure all over this country. And it was sold for a song because we needed money for government expenditure, I believe, under Kufuor. The amount of profits which the telecos are making because of the way they are exploiting us is huge. And the amount of money which Vodafone is shipping out and which MTN is also shipping out is huge. Why doesn't the government tax those multinationals more, especially on their profits, but are coming to tax the poor Ghanaian for sending just a movie?
I wouldn't catch you, but you see, the thing is, even if they are taxing them more, then it means that the telcos in turn would come and impose that tax on us.
They can make sure corporate tax, the tax on profits, that after all your transactions, the profit you get, we tax it. So you can't come back and impose anything on us. And of course, there should be regulation. You understand? But back to the NDC, what it should be understood is that this E-levy tax is opposed by Ghanaians. Unequivocal. I mean, Ghanaians do not like it. Ghanaians are against it. And the NDC has found itself in parliament. So it is the head of the host who are opposed to this E-levy. So if they play any hanky-panky like they played hanky-panky in March on the budget, then their credibility will sink. You understand? You hear some people saying that, oh, if we don't pass the appropriations bill and this thing, the government business will come to a halt. Let government business come to a halt. After all, what's government business other than expenditure by Jubilee House and the cronies of Akufo-Addo and Akufo-Addo himself? Let government business come to a halt where there'll be no money for him to go and hijack a jet to fly off or to pay them or anything. Then they come back to their senses and they make a proper budget. It has been tried in America before, and people were forced to sit down and negotiate. If you don't show balls, if you don't show that you are also what you've got, you are strong, and you believe in what you are saying, you'll be taken for granted. Look at how the so-called majority leader humiliates the minority in the parliament. March, in May, is it May? Yeah, it was May Day that they imposed 6 taxes. That is in the mid-year budget and all those kind of things. To the extent that even the passing of the ministers and all those kind of things, then these people were humiliated. Stand up, NDC, because you happen to be in a privileged position in the parliament and to be the largest opposition party. But as far as the E-levy is concerned, all Ghanaians are opposed to it. And it's not only the E-levy. There are a lot of things in the budget Ghanaians are opposed to. Ghanaians are opposed to the budget. And so Ghanaians supported the NDC when they disapproved of the budget and condemned the MPP when they used machinations to ram it through again, even after their so-called changes. We want the NDC to come out clear. If you say you are opposition, the whole country is against E-levy. Lead us and lead us properly. Be principled. You understand? Don't play hanky-panky. What are you going to negotiate? Then you might as well let it pass through. And it is not only the E-levy, the Japan and all those damn things in that budget, useless budget, should be rejected. Don't pass appropriations bill. Let government business grind to a halt. And let us see who will suffer, whether it's ordinary Ghanaian who will suffer or it is those who are spending and stealing our money in the Jubilee House and all those things who will suffer.
Right. Thank you very much. Corredinto, can you wrap up for us?
Yes. We should be up and doing. You see, I saw a story, but I don't want to believe that story. But if that story is true, then it means that even the telecos, as well as the Ministry of Finance, they are taking Ghanaians as if we are fools. Yes, because I saw a story stating that the telecos have reduced 25%. So the government can go ahead and collect the 1.75. It doesn't make sense. To me, if you are able to reduce 25% charge, why don't you just infuse it or deduct the 1.75 and give the government 23.25? Because it doesn't make sense to me. And if the minority should be there, like my senior comrade said, doing wagadri, as if things are, in the face of Ghanaians, as if they are doing well. But when they go down, sit with them, then they agree on issues, it will never be well with them. That one day, let me promise them. We will make sure that if they should pass this E-levy or Momo tax, everybody will lose a seat. Yes, because it is not about they being in parliament. It is about the 30.8 million Ghanaians who voted them there. And we are saying that we don't need this E-levy. See, you know one funny thing? When people are transacting using their mobile money, these days people have linked their bank accounts to their mobile money. And so people think that it is only sending money that you are going to be charged to. But when your Momo is linked to your bank account and you want to transfer money from your bank account into your Momo wallet, you'll be deducted. So these are petty things Ghanaians need to know. The middle class that we are talking about, most of them are using these facilities. And so if we are saying that we don't need this Momo tax or E-levy, it is not about only the E-levy, the Momo tax. There are various, like you said, nuisance taxes that has been imposed on the ordinary Ghanaian. And if care is not taken, all these taxes are going to end up in the pockets of the leadership of the ruling government. Because we have not seen what they have used our taxes over the years for. And you still want to tax us. So the minority shouldn't sit down and think that, they can just be saying whatever they are saying, we want 1%. In fact, 0.001, we don't need it. Even 0.5%, we don't need it. Because it is not going to help the ordinary Ghanaian. Just imagine somebody's capital is just 1,000 cedis. And you see, when the finance committee met, they were asking a lady some questions. And they asked, so if somebody is sending 1,000 cedis, what on the 1,000 cedis are you going to deduct? He said they will deduct 900. 900, because when you send 100, you will not be charged. Now, when the person have sent the money to, now you have deducted 900. When that person is also sending, you will deduct 800. So by the time it gets to the 10th person, then the money is finished. So if it is somebody's capital, how much is left? So for them telling us that they have think outside the box, it is not true. This is a lazy man's way of taxing the ordinary Ghanaian. There are so many avenues you can get your taxes from.
Right.
We don't want to give our small Momo monies for you to go and buy Land Cruisers. We don't want to give our small Momo for you to go and bath in the sky, Mr. President. We don't want to give our small capital that we have for you to be renting jets left, right, center, anywhere in this world. We just want you to use the natural minerals, resources that we have. Make good use of it. Ensure that you think better outside the box, not your outside the box that your people claim you are. Because if this is outside the box that you people are thinking, then I'm sorry. And then also, tell your cousin who has stopped the road levy, the road toll levy, over the weeks that he has stopped. The country has run into a loss of over 10 million Ghana cedis. We want you to collect it. Use it, and use it wisely, rather than taxing us. And look, minority, they should watch out. Last week, Friday, I saw my own uncle, AD, sitting here, struggling.
He was hot.
Struggling. Then I said, look at my man. He's struggling to defend it. There's no way you can defend it because Ghanaians don't need it.
Exactly.
And like I said, that particular Momo, if they should impose the Momo tax, it is another avenue of collapsing businesses. And this government is noted of collapsing businesses. Look at the banks that they have collapsed. So now they have collapsed the individual banks, the savings and loans. Let us go and collapse the Momo too. Then we will finish them. We will not sit down. You understand? We will not sit down for them to collapse this economy. No, this country. No, we will not. We don't need the Momo. If the minority claims that they need it, we will sack them from parliament. After all, we took them there. We voted them. We stood in the sun and asked them to go and represent us. So if they cannot serve our interests, they don't have any business doing in parliament. And for MPP, trust me, in 2024, they will not have even 50 members of parliament. Yes.
Thank you very much. Let me do a few of your messages, then we can call it a day. Takrady girls were killed, the president silent, elections killing silent, the disaster in Keta silent, but the president ran to the Christian Council to complain against JDM because they were called Achim Sakawa Mafia. Israel Nyonyo says, good morning, Mr. Host. This MPP government will never drop this E-levy, neither will it reduce. They would only scrap it off in 2024 to trick Ghanaians for electoral votes. They will reintroduce it in 2025 should they win the election. God deliver us from these mafias. Israel from Salaga. Okay, is it rather the NDC MPs that will lose their seats? What about the MPP MPs who are in support of the E-levy? Please, let's 50 seats. Please, let's stop blaming the NDC MPs. They have tried their best. Besides, Ghanaians voted for the MPP, so let's all suffer in peace. Lion of Judah says, how can you send your capital to other people? This example confuses me. Okay.
No, let me explain so that he can get it. What I mean is that if you are a mobile money vendor and you started with 1,000 cedis, you know, when you send, you get something. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. So if the person, somebody, you are send 1,000 to somebody, the person pays you the 1,000. You know, when you are sending, they don't collect any charges. Yeah, so when you send 1,000 to somebody out there and the money reduces, at the end of the day, you don't get your 1,000. Are you getting the point? So that is what I mean by saying that somebody's capital will go down the drain. Go
downhill. Right. Thank you very much. Benjamin Sonedong says he's watching from Spain. Thank you very much, Benjamin. Many thanks for you all who joined us on Facebook. Many thanks to you all who join us from the comfort of your homes, wherever you watch us from. We are very much grateful. I want to thank my guests here for delivering, you know, as they always do. They made justice to their topics, and you have been educated, and I believe that you who watched at home too has been educated. Many thanks to Comrade Justice Ekufu Anako. Let me say once again that it's such a delight to have you on the show once again. Welcome back, and we pray for good health. Thank you. Thank you very much, Comrade Desmond Chumesinto. Thank you. Many thanks for that. Very interesting submission, and thank you at home. Keep on watching Pan-African television. The Utah season is here. In a world where you can be anything, like I always say, be kind. Do have a pleasant morning.